Good early afternoon. We are live. It's a Tuesday. It is Tuesday, isn't it? It's a Tuesday. Whew. Man, where does the time go? Yesterday, it was Monday. Anyway, I'm Andy Andrews. Glad to be here with you for another episode of the Blue Plate Special Tuesday edition, where we broadcast all over the world in multiple platforms. So we're hoping you're with us on a platform. And if you're with us, you are on a platform. But man, it's hot here. It's hot. It's a beautiful day, but it's hot. Matt, we got anybody joining in? I'm just curious. We have been going since daybreak here. We have Briley Kristofi and little Emily Isabel, whatever her last name is now. It's something Italian. But anyway, we Wisdom Harbor contributors, and we just did a podcast recording, and they did a generation conversation. Shanda Danner, hey, back from your 2 weeks in Iowa. Yeah, I bet you are missing that cool weather already. Linda Berg, how are you doing? I'm glad you're on time. We're on time too. Martin Simmons, Ernest T says, hey. We've got a pretty cool show for you today. Sherry Lee Knack, happy to hear y'all too. We got an interesting show today, and we got such a great response from the one a couple of weeks ago that we did about what do you call it where you live, that we thought we would do 12 more things. So these are 12 things. You may be familiar with the Oxford English Dictionary version, but what about the Dictionary of American Regional English? In 1965, researchers from the American Dialect Society, yes, there is a dialect society, they took on pretty much an ambitious undertaking. They spent 5 years conducting in-person interviews in all 50 states in an attempt to create this comprehensive record of different words, phrases, and pronunciations that we use in different areas across the country. I thought this was pretty wild. I mean, what they found was that there is a hugely significant variation regionally, and that's thanks in part to the historical patterns of immigration, the way people moved. Because you'll see, like here's a for instance, in a 2021 animated map that appeared in Business Insider, New York's dialect has evolved in part from an influx of British and Dutch communities that settled there over centuries. Ulster Scots speakers from Ireland settled in the Appalachians, and they influenced that language before moving. A lot of them moved to the Midwest and conjoining them with the northern speech patterns. Unsurprisingly, language in the Southwest represents the proximity of English-speaking Americans to Mexican Spanish speakers. So this linguistic evolution continues today. Miami English made headlines in 2023 after researchers declared it a new American dialect, Miami English. It's filled with phrases that stem from literal translations of Spanish to English, and Miami English is hallmarked by things like, rather than have a party, they say, make a party. And instead of get out of the car, they say, get down from the car. So social media is also creating kind of a universal dialect of its own. And those words and phrases are used uniformly no matter what region or country a user is from. And I think the more we are connected through the years by television, by social media, the closer we get to saying the same things. But it hadn't happened totally yet. Last time we were on, we talked, hey, Roger Luker, how are you doing? We talked about some different ways of saying, like, I call them a traffic circle or a roundabout. And there's another phrase, and I can't remember where this came from, but called a rotary. Have you ever heard anybody call it a rotary? And I had never heard that. And as God is my witness, 2 days later, I was trying to find my way through from Highway 59 over to the Beach Expressway, and I was going through a place, and I thought, man, I know I'm headed the right direction, but I've never been here, and I don't know if this is even going to come out. And a lady was walking beside the road, and I stopped, and I said, hey, does this come out up at the Beach Expressway? And she says, well, you have to cross the rotary. I'm like, wow. I mean, so she had to be from somewhere other than here. A rotary. Have you guys ever heard of that? Yeah, no, I never heard of that either. Stacker compiled a list of different things that have region-specific names, and they did it from news, dictionary, and academic sources. So let's see if the words that you know and use are specific to your state, or if they're recognizable throughout the country. So I've listed several here that we can talk over. How about yard sale, garage sale, tag sale, or rummage sale? What do y'all say? I think I say yard sale. But then there's a garage sale. But I don't call it a tag sale or a rummage sale. So most Americans call it a yard sale or a garage sale, like me. But in some areas of Massachusetts, Connecticut, or eastern Wisconsin, the names tag sale or rummage sale could be used instead. Rummage sale was first used to refer to sales meant to raise money for charity. This was in the 1960s, before it was applied more generally. And throughout the 70s, an increasing number of sales that were being held in front of yards and from inside homeowners' garages led to the term garage sale and yard sale, and that was increasing in popularity. So I don't have any idea where tag sale comes from. So do you call them garbage cans or trash cans? Garbage cans? What do you call it, Matt?
I kind of feel like...
I think I'm kind of interchangeable on that.
Yeah. I feel like I refer to garbage more outside the house if it's...
Take the trash out to the road.
Yeah, I think if I'm at home,
I can't hear you.
Oh. You can't hear me? Oh, sorry. How about now?
I can hear you now.
I feel like garbage, I refer to more of anything outside the house. If it's in my home, I'm taking out the trash. But if I'm throwing it away at a store, I'm like, throw it away in the garbage. More so, but I do use them interchangeably.
I think garbage is like kitchen stuff, and then trash is more like leaves and branches. But, who am I to say? Garbage can or trash can? Both names for these receptacles are popularly used, but people in the Pacific Northwest tend to use trash can, while those in the southern states favor garbage can. Trash was originally used to refer, to sticks or twigs or other debris found under trees. On the other hand, garbage came into use in the 15th century to refer to excess parts of a bird not able to be used in meals. The garbage. Here's one that's interesting. We always say an 18-wheeler, but there are two other terms for it, a semi or a tractor trailer. Now, I've heard all of those. What do you call it?
Semi.
You call it a semi?
I do.
Well, you're a Yankee. You and your Yankee raisin. He's from Tennessee. He's a Yankee to us. Your choice of a hyphenated term largely depends on your region. As we know, in the Northeast, most people call it a tractor trailer. In the South, an 18-wheeler. And in other areas, it's known as a semi. It may seem like a misnomer to call this large vehicle a semi, which kind of indicates that it's of partial size only. But the term is actually short for a semi-trailer truck or semi-tractor trailer, which refers to the fact that while a regular trailer has 4 wheels and can be pulled by another vehicle in front of it, a semi-trailer only has rear wheels. It must be attached to the back wheels of a tractor to move. Yeah, it's 18-wheeler for us. I mean, I'm not thinking Alabama could have done a song, Tractor Trailer. Roll on the highway, rolling along. Roll on, mama, till you get back home. And roll on, tractor trailer, roll on. That doesn't sound right. No, it doesn't. What about a pothole, a chug hole, or a chuck hole? Now, I'm pothole. I've never even heard of a chug hole or a chuck hole, but whether you call it a pothole, as we do in the southern states, a chug hole in the Midwestern states, or a chuck hole if you live in California, Nevada, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Indiana, or Florida. Really? The headache experience from driving over one's probably the same anyway. It doesn't matter what they call it. But, so it's a chuck hole in California? Hey, did you see on the news about those mostly peaceful protests in California?
I heard about them.
Yeah, mostly peaceful. And now they have put out the mostly peaceful military to take care of it. Goosebumps or duck bumps? Duck bumps? Who says duck bumps? You guys, anybody say duck bumps? I've never heard of duck bumps in my life. You know, we're talking about the small bumps that appear on your skin when you're cold, you're frightened. And these things got their name because they look similar to poultry skin after it's been plucked of its feathers. So although some people, I guess most people call it goosebumps, but those in the northern states call them duck bumps. You could just as easily call them turkey bumps or chicken bumps. How about a stone, a pit, a seed, or a kernel? What's in a peach?
It's got a pit.
Pit? I think I always call it a seed, a peach seed. But if you live in central Atlanta, not all of Atlanta, it's just central Atlanta, or any of the Gulf states, you'll find a kernel buried in the center of a peach. I've never heard it called a kernel in my life. Be careful eating that peach, you'll break your teeth on the kernel. I've never heard that. People who eat their peaches in the Pacific Northwest or in northern states get rid of their pits, northern states, while many across the country refer to the seeds as stones. I think the term most commonly in use in Midwest states is a pit, but only Alabama, Mississippi, Tennessee, and Arkansas refer to them as what they actually are, peach seeds. It is a seed. How about this one? How about liquor store, party store, packy, or state store? You know, I've also heard package store. That has a wide variety, and I suppose the variety of liquor laws from state to state has historically influenced whether it's referred to as a liquor store, which most states, or a packy in New England and South Carolina. What does New England and South Carolina have in common, other than calling the liquor store a packy? New England and South Carolina. I don't know. In Pennsylvania, it's a party store. Or in Michigan, a party store developed as a term. Party store developed as a term in states that allowed for the privatization of liquor sales. And packy refers to, I guess, the package stores of the late 1800s, which wrapped up shipments of alcohol to make use of a legal loophole, which forbid police to seize alcohol still in its original package. That is an odd loophole. This was the one that was interesting to me. I've heard both of these. This is number 8. Faucet or spigot?
Faucet.
Yeah, faucet. Did you have that big poster of Farrah Spigot up on your wall in college? To people in northern states, water is poured into a glass through a spigot. To those in southern states, it's called a faucet, which is correct. Faucet is correct, not spigot. Spigot sounds like something my grandmother would have said, though. I love this one. Press, push, or mash. You're going to say push the button, press the button, or mash the button. What do you say, Matt?
I think it depends a little on direction for me. If my thumb is going downward, I'm pushing it, but if it's on a wall, I'm pressing it. But I'm usually not mashing anything, unless it's potatoes.
Hey, I think I'm mashing. Which that really makes me sound like a real redneck, doesn't it? Maybe I am one. Mash the button. Widespread and slightly informal nationwide usage is push the button. And that's especially strong in the Midwest. Great Lake areas and parts of the West, it's also common. Press the button is common across most of the West Coast, the Northeast, and the upper Midwest, and also prevalent in urban or more general American speech areas. It's often used in more formal, technical, or standard, if you're writing something, you'd probably say press the button. But mash the button is used predominantly in the South, especially Tennessee, Kentucky, Arkansas, Mississippi, Louisiana, Alabama, parts of Texas, and West Virginia. Mash the button makes us sound like idiots, but I think that's probably what I say. Leslie Ann Tarabella, our author friend and contributor to Wisdom Harbor, she said she mashed her finger in the Chester drawers. I mean, that sounds like something we would say. Patricia Gleason says press. Patty Garrison says Matt has a good point. Don't be sucking up to Matt. Don't be trying to make him feel good, especially for his things that he's wrong about. Okay, what's the next one? Well, Mary Patrick says push, and she's from Michigan. Wonder if I could talk some Michigan people into saying mash. That was the last one? Well, we didn't record them all. I mean, I guess they didn't all get transferred. Can you think of any others? I was trying to think of, like, one I thought of was a landfill or a dump. I think in the South we take stuff to the dump. And then in the North it's a landfill. Sony, what do you say, California? Landfill or dump? Landfill? Dump? Really? Okay. Well, here we go. That is our, that's the last of them for today. I'm headed to Birmingham today. Because I'm doing Rick Burgess's radio show in the morning. Tricia Garrison said, MASH sounds kind of pushy. Myra Ward, greetings from Grand Lake of the Cherokees, Grove, Oklahoma. I'm headed to Birmingham. Going to do Be True or BS with Rick and Speedy and Greg and Alder tomorrow. Charlie Marlowe is a financial coach. He's a button pusher from way back from Virginia. Sandy Atkins from El Salvador. What do y'all say in El Salvador? Press, push, or mash? Marcy Taylor says dump. Patricia Garrison says dump. It's funny to see, because I kind of know where some of you guys are. I know where Marcy Taylor's from because she gives us the weather report from Washington. Charlie Marlowe says that landfill is the PC term. Okay. Mary Patrick says, we in Michigan take it to the dump, but we refer to it as the landfill. Huh. Do I remember you from a few weeks ago in person? How could I forget you? How could I forget you? Ron Kerner, landfill in Texas. A landfill. This is curious to find out. Brian Hayes, dump in Georgia. This is also curious that we gave you 8 of them, and everybody seems to be gravitating toward the push, press, mash, or the landfill and dump. That's what you want to tell us what you call it. Is it because there's that much of a division? I don't know. My favorite one of these we talked about last time is Coke, pop, or soda. There's somewhere in the north they call it a pop, and somewhere in the north they call it a soda. I don't know if it's New York calls it a soda or a pop, or Chicago is a soda or pop, but they're one of those things. And in the South, we're just Coke. Adepa Dorothy is watching live from Ghana. What do you call it there? Push, press, or mash in Ghana? Lucy Young, hello to you. It's the Coke, soda, pop thing is curious to me because I don't know how in the South we call everything a Coke. Everything's a Coke. You want a Coke? Yeah. What kind you want? Sprite? Anybody want a Coke? Sure, I'll take one. What kind you want? Orange. Where did that come from? Where did we start doing that? I mean, that's the one that makes Southerners seem kind of weird, and we kind of are kind of weird. Patricia Garrison says soda is Michigan. Brian Hayes, Coca-Cola in Georgia for any soft drink. That's right, it's a Coke, any soft drink. I like the way you spelled Coca-Cola. That's how we say Coca-Cola. I don't say Coca-Cola. Could I have a Coca-Cola? Hey, bring me a Coca-Cola while you're at. You want a Coca-Cola? Sure. What kind? Dr. Pepper. I don't know, man. Language is very, very weird. We're going to have to do a show one day about silent letters. I think silent letters screwed me up as a kid in school. Spelling bees. Knife. N-I-F-E. No, that would be a knife. We're talking about a knife. Kevin Tim Perkins. How you doing? Ron Clarner, Coke, Dr. Pepper, and Barks all came from the South. Barks came from New Orleans, isn't it? Do you know that there is a Barks red cream soda? Mary Patrick was very confused the first time you were asked what kind of Coke you wanted. Michigan Pop. Oh, there you go, Brian Hayes. Shopping cart or buggy? What do you call it?
It's a cart.
Riley, you're in there. You're from Palm Beach, which
I am.
is as far north as you can get in Florida. So, what do you call it? Shopping cart or buggy?
That's a shopping cart. But earlier you said we call it a chuck hole in Florida, and that is wrong. I've said pothole my whole life.
Huh. And I wonder if potholes have anything to do with potluck.
Maybe so.
Maybe in California they call it chuck luck.
My New Englander father's family would definitely say buggy for shopping
Buggy.
cart.
Really?
Mhm.
And that's in New England?
Yeah.
Buggy?
Yeah.
I mean, buggy sounds like something you would say in the South. But I don't know anybody that calls it a buggy. It's a cart. Shopping cart. Shanda Danner says, buggy. A buggy. All right. Well, that's it for today. We'll be back Thursday with more foolishness, maybe some seriousness, but probably not. It'll probably be foolishness. So we'll see you Thursday.